Progress. Okay. Hello, everyone, and I'll go ahead and get started with the introductions. My name is Liz Rosell. I'm with Sea Level Social, but I'm on the SNA of South Carolina Executive Board, and Miss Nicole Giles, I believe she's joining in. She had this great idea at the Executive Board meeting to have what we call Nutrition Nuggets, which is just a quick Zoom meeting for all school nutrition professionals in South Carolina. No matter what you're doing in school nutrition, we want you on here to share your ideas, what's working, ask questions. And what I love about this is even if you might not have anything to share, tune in and just listen and get some great ideas. So the last time we did this, we talked about National School Lunch Week. And that video is on the Facebook page and on the website if you want to find it. Great ideas for National School Lunch Week, but really all year long. But Mr. Dion Bellamy, I voluntold him to come on here because he had such great ideas in the last session. I said, can we get Dion to come back and share what he's doing at Loris High School? And so Dion, we have some more joining in, so I'm really excited. Welcome. I see we've got SNA of South Carolina President Donna Davis and Vice President Jennifer is on here too. So I'd love to say hi to you and Amy, let y'all introduce yourselves, and we're gonna kick it off. This is an open conversation. This is not just for us three to talk, and we want to hear from you what's working, but let's just kick it off with hearing a little bit about your program, and we'll start with what we talked about last month, which was how you're using Snapchat to market to high schoolers.
All right, so my name's Dion Bellamy. Like you said, I'm here at Loris High School. We're 9th through 12th grade. We have about 850 students. We're a middle-sized high school. We have about 750 of those in the building. I've been a manager here for 2 or 3 years possibly, and I've been an assistant a couple years before that. So I've been with the Horry County school system for about 6 or 7 years. Amy?
Hi, I'm Amy, Dion's assistant. I have been in the school system for almost a year and a half. I came from the restaurant industry, and I find that this is a purposeful place to be. I enjoy being with the kids and feel like making a difference in the world. So I'm excited to be here and part of this conversation. Thank you.
Yeah. I will say before we get started, whenever I visit schools, like I love seeing like pictures of like thank you notes from the students. I think it was in Greenwood a couple months ago, and you see thank you notes from the students, but the ones from the high schoolers, like you just know those kids, like they mean it. Those hit me more than those cute little elementary ones. I know y'all are making a difference. To Amy's point about making a difference, I know you are at those high schools. So Dion, let's kick it off. What are y'all doing that's working really well?
So as far as marketing goes, you have the normal things. You have the bulletin boards, you have all those things. And I would, I've heard the stories of, principals that's not engaged with the cafeteria. Thankfully, I've been blessed to have great administration and great backing. So I would utilize everything in-house, the people that can make the posters, the people that can make the t-shirts, all those things. I wouldn't be just cafeteria. I would look at football. I would look at drama. I would look at everything. So Amy and I are a team. If I can't make it to an event, she makes it to an event. But the biggest thing that I think people are not utilizing, and I'm a big advocate for, is Snapchat. I have a child in elementary school, a child in middle school, and a child in high school. Well, in college now. And all of them does Snapchat, right? So Snapchat is huge. Snapchat is huge. So it's about just being involved with the kids. They use TikTok for their entertainment and Snapchat for the communications. So if you're not using Snapchat, I think it's a source that's not being tapped into. Like, again, I said I have 750 kids. If I post a snap, 45% of my students see that snap every day. And then that also gets screenshotted and sent and saved and commented on, and it's the internet. It just catches fire. And everybody say, oh, Mr. Bellamy, I saw that TikTok your son posted. Oh, Mr. Bellamy, I see we got free cookies today. And it just goes on and on and on and on.
So let me ask you, because I work with like districts that have like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. For Snapchat, you have does it look like it's Dion Bellamy's Snapchat, or is it the cafeteria? Like, what's it branded as? Is it branded as the cafeteria, the school? What does that look like?
That would be up to the manager or the assistant manager, whoever wants to do it. I would get with administration and see if they wanted to open up a school Snapchat account. But me personally, I use my personal Snapchat, and I've only did Snapchat just for the school. So everything that's on my personal Snapchat, a little bit of my family, because I like them to know that I'm a person as well. But for the most part, it's all school-based stuff. If you can see this, it's like a snap code.
Right.
You can print them off. You can make them small. You can make them big. Post them up all over the place. The kids just scan the QR code and they know everything you're doing for the day.
And they just have to do it, right? They see a code, they have to scan it. Is that how those high schoolers are? I imagined it is, but
yeah, they're programmed for Snapchat. That's how they do everything. So having 3 kids myself, kids don't even send text messages anymore because their parents can see them. Snapchat is kind of, it's here and it's gone. It's not there for more than 24 hours at most. So that's just the way that kids communicate. I can text my son, he won't answer, but if I snap him, he answers it right away. So.
Okay. so let me ask you, when you're, how often do you post on your Snapchat?
I try not to go 24 hours without posting something.
Yeah. I love to hear that.
It's a full-time job. If I see, if you don't post something on Snap, your little icon will just turn to your avatar and you haven't posted anything in the last 24 hours. If I ever see that, I just blast out 20 quick snaps. It could be anything. These kids' attention spans are so quick, so minute, and just let them do what they want to do. Kids have this thing now where they post pictures with their hand on their face and stuff like that. To us, it seems silly, but that's what they do. So just let them do whatever they want to do. They take a lot of pictures of their shoes. They don't care if it's in focus. They don't care if it's focused. They don't care if it's blurry. They don't care if the screen's straight. Just post stuff and they will see it all the time.
So, okay. Have you had, you mentioned last month that you show like their pictures, you have them like hooked up to a monitor and like they want to be featured in your posts. Like, can you explain that a little bit for those that maybe didn't hear it last time?
So we have bulletin boards in our cafeteria, and Amy came up with a great idea. So we take all these pictures. So that's one way to get the kids engaged. So when we do Spirit Week, Cookie Week, National School Breakfast Week, all that goes up on our snaps. And we also print those out so the kids can come and physically see pictures. So we print all those pictures out. I wish we've got thousands of pictures from last week. We had a Spirit Week and we haven't put them up yet, though. I wish we had, and I could show them to you guys. But the kids get involved and we post them up and they want to be engaged. They want to jump in your picture so they can be part of the conversation, be part of the snaps, be put on the bulletin board. We have pictures for Western Day with 30, 40 kids just lined up together just to take a picture, just to be on Mr. Bellamy Snapchat. So it's pretty good when you see kids 18, 17, 16 years old and they're like, oh, you guys are the coolest. We love you, Mr. Bellamy. We love you, Miss Amy. And they come to them with our problems because we're not administration. Yeah. So Heather Stone had a friend come by and talk to us, and she made a great point where, the cafeteria is the only group of people that sees every child. Administration doesn't see every child. English teacher doesn't see every child, but we see every child every day, and we make our cafeteria a welcoming environment where everybody can just come in and deload for 30, 40 minutes.
I've worked with school districts for over 10 years and I've never heard that point, but it's so valid, especially at the high school, that you've got kids that can come to you. You're like a safe place for them because you said that they're not administration, but if you're that safe space for them, that's just a whole nother level of what you're doing to serve these kids. And Amy, you were talking about how like before we went live, you were talking about how like you treat these kids like you remember their names, you try to just even like little compliments. Talk about that kind of experience that you create at Loras High.
I think that is important, just like if you were in the corporate business. It's important that you are satisfying the customer. They are, they will keep us in business. I mean, and that's just the reality of it. And so if you're running a business, you're going to give great customer service. And so that to me is the most important part about our job. And so it's not only bringing purpose to your children, it's also bringing purpose for yourself. And so the things that I like to do is I'm not the greatest with names, but I try every day, at least once a month, to add a new kid's name to my repertoire. And so as I'm doing that, and you start calling these before they get up to the computer, you can say their name to them. So they know that you know them because they haven't put their number in yet. Oh, hey, your hair looks great. If a kid's not at school, Where were you? I haven't seen you in the last couple of days. Oh, I've been in ISS, which kind of goes along with what Dion is saying. It also gives you the opportunity to say, hey, well, what did you get in trouble for? Maybe you should, it gives you a voice in a community.
Yeah.
So you're able to make people, especially our kids, feel better about themselves, to feel welcome and a safe environment. So when you're coming into a safe environment and you know that your emotions are safe and that we are worried about your well-being and we're glad that you're here, then you're going to have more participation.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, that doesn't mean you can't have great food. You still have to have a great product and you still have to promote those things, but you're also promoting a good place to be.
No, I'm
right. Absolutely. That's amazing.
You guys supposed to get on it. I'm not getting on it.
Oh, sorry. Just 1 sec. There we go. I think we had a new attendee. I'm just muting a couple. Sorry about that. So as you join, I should be everyone automatically muted, but okay, perfect. So that's like, I've never heard these conversations before. And I'm just so glad we're having them right now, because as you were talking, Amy, I was like, in my head, I was like, oh, and then the back of the mind is like, oh yeah, and participation, which is like, we talk all the time of like increasing participation, but all these benefits that you're all creating, on top of that, it's amazing. So I want to, oh yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Just to add on to what Amy was saying about a safe place in Snapchat as well. There's been multiple occasions where, the tea has got spilled, like things happen in the street and it spills over on Snapchat, of course, because this is where the kids are at. So I can give administration a heads up, like, listen, we need extra communication. We need extra security or whatever. This happened in the last 2 years, probably 4 or 5 times where we was able to stop instances before they happened because we already knew what was going to go on before it spilled over into the school.
Right.
But that doesn't really hurt the trust that those students have with you, really, though. It's not like they feel like you're snitching or anything. It's just their support system.
Exactly. A student will come to you because the way Snapchat works, if somebody was to, you can see everybody that sees your Snap. If somebody was to screenshot it, if somebody was to share it, all that would be known to you. So kids feel safe knowing that you didn't screenshot the information, you didn't do whatever, or they feel comfortable enough to just know that they can trust you and say, Mr. Bellamy, this is going on. What can we do about it? Just thanks for letting me know. If administration asks me who said it, I don't remember, but because they trusted me with the information. But yeah, it's not who said it that's important. It's what needs to be done that's important.
It reminds me of like the family dynamic of like, you always have like that aunt or uncle, someone you can go to that's not your parents, right? But you've got someone in your family you can go to that if something's wrong, you feel a safe place. So I love this conversation. I could not love this conversation more. I didn't think it'd go here, but it's so great. I want to open the floor for anybody else has questions for Dion and Amy about what they're doing. Another thing I like about this conversation is it's focused on high school. And I feel like so often we're like, what do we do with these high school students? And they're doing amazing things with them. So ask if you've got questions, please do that. If you have some things that are working, whether it's marketing or kind of what they're touching on here of like, making a difference in these students' lives, please like unmute yourself and share. I do want to, Renee wants to ask about TikTok. Before we talk about TikTok, Renee, would you mind jumping on and giving everybody an update on the conference? We're right at the halfway point. We'll wrap up at 9:30 so everybody can get back to work. We really appreciate you carving out time with us, but we do want to do a couple quick plugs because the conference is next week.
Exactly. 1 week from today is the official start of the conference. I cannot believe it, but I am ready for it, and I hope everyone else is ready for it. We've got a big schedule planned, whole weekend's packed full of fun. So if you haven't done it, please go and register. It's still not too late to register to come. And make sure that if you have registered that you have already downloaded our conference app from the QR codes. It's on the conference at a glances. So that way you will be set and you will know the schedule for the entire weekend. So hope to see everyone there. The other thing that I want to talk to is we actually just got notification from National School Nutrition Association, and they have officially kicked off a fall membership drive. So the fall membership drive is started October the 1st, and it's going to run through December the 31st. And they will reward 3 state associations, from each of the 3 membership divisions that recruits the most new members with a monetary prize. So we will have more information coming out soon in regards to this membership drive, and we want to gain that national recognition for our state association.
And that's a perfect setup for everyone to welcome Amy. She is a new member, or going to be a new member. She's coming and joining up. So love to see that. Welcome, Amy. And we're just glad to keep offering things like this to for everybody. Thank you, Renee. I did put the link to the annual conference information. The link to that's in the chat. It's everything you need to know, as well as the Facebook page. The recording of this session will be on Facebook too. So thanks, Renee. If you think of anything else, like fill us in at the end too. And so, Amy, welcome to SNA of South Carolina. And what about TikTok? Are y'all using TikTok much?
I can't do but so many social media sites at one time.
Okay, it's funny you say that, because Renee's over here asking about TikTok, and Renee is a client, and we do their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And in the back of my head, I'm like, oh man, Renee's gonna want us to do TikTok.
But
I will help with that, Liz. I will help.
Again, though, TikTok is big. It's definitely a resource that you can use. When we're on break and everything, you can see the kids in the hallways making TikToks all the time. The good thing about TikTok and Snapchat is that they talk to each other. So if you make a TikTok, it can automatically go to Snapchat. So when I see a kid doing a dance or whatever, I run in, I do the dance too, and I'll be like, make sure you tag me in that, put it on my Snap. And then it just my kids do TikToks. I'll do a TikTok and I'll post it on my Snap, but it's a full-time job doing social media. I don't know how y'all do it.
I like photo bombing their TikToks. I love that.
Yeah. And one of the things that I can comment on is that on Fridays, we have a one lunch. And so that means our whole school gets to have lunch at one time. And so during that period, you see all of these children making TikToks. And so the week that we're all taking pictures in Spirit Week, they have added Mr. Dion's Snapchat to their TikToks. Hey, there's Miss Amy, there's Mr. Bellamy. And so the two are linked up so we can see that they are involving us. So we've involved them, and now they're posting us right back. So that's saying that, yes, we are making a difference, and they are appreciating us in the community and our involvement. So it is important that maybe you can only utilize one social media, but don't think that they're not both being utilized by your children. So and it's the same difference. If you're putting negative out there and you're not doing a great job interacting with your kids, then they're going to post that also.
Right. And like Dion said, like 45% of the kids are seeing it. So, I mean, that's huge. Oh my gosh.
Right.
And that's 45% just off of my Snap. I know 100% of the kids do see it though. So there's nothing like a better feeling than waking up in the morning and see that one of your snaps, just a little snippet, has been shared 40, 50 times.
Right.
And then you start looking through your students and you see where they've screenshotted and they've shared it and they're shared it and they're shared it and they're shared it. It just doesn't stop.
Yeah, and you're literally in there with what they've got in their hands all day. I do want to ask towards the end, we'll make sure we keep this line, but I want to hear about that one lunch. I've never heard of that before. It's interesting. But we had another question. Renee asked, how do you deal with negative comments? Do you get any, or how does that work? Sounds like you've got so much positivity flowing, but what about negativity?
In the beginning of my career, we've had the Facebook posts, we've had those things, we've had those incidents before, but I can honestly say since we've been more engaged, and they'll be honest with me, Mr. Bellamy, I didn't like that. I was like, okay, we'll go try something else. But it's really my principal. He's a local boy and he's got a mantra of bringing pride back. So you can really feel the pride coming back. So if somebody has a problem with me, they would come with me, but it's 99% positive, hardly any negative feedback. And it definitely hasn't been spilling out into the Facebook world of angry moms and dads or anything like that, if it was.
Right.
And I also believe that goes back to what we were discussing earlier. We treat it like it is a business. So when they come in that atmosphere, if you go into a restaurant and the person in charge handles it correctly and says, just like what Mr. Dion said, go grab something else. Hey, I'm really sorry about that. What can I get? What can I do to make it better for you? Then 9 out of 10 times that's not going to go on your TripAdvisor. It's not going to go out into Facebook. It's, you're going to get, hey, had a little hiccup at Where do we all like to go? Fridays. But you know what? They fixed it for me, and I appreciate that. So it becomes less when you're engaging with your students, you know them by name, they know you, then it's going to be less of an issue. It's not going to get out there on your social media if you're handling it like they are your customers.
I actually had a client, a parent sent a direct message to the Facebook page and said, my kid got something and it was cold or something like that. It wasn't a huge deal, but her child was unhappy. And I was like, please tell them to talk to the cafeteria manager. And I think that you're right. Like, I think they're in the school mindset. Like, they don't realize it is, a business and a restaurant of sorts. And so you can get asked to speak to the manager. If something's not right, they want to know. And because if it's not right for you, maybe it's, other kids, it was cold for them. You want to make it right because you want them coming back next time.
And so you also, and some of the things that we also have to remember is that we're also educating these children. So they also need to know that they do have a voice. So it's one thing to speak with the parents, but at a high school level, these are young adults, and we should be able to communicate with them how we want them to communicate in our communities. This is how we're going to talk to you. This is how we want you to talk outside of the school. We are part of, in this nutrition services, we are part of the education system. So it's important that we're teaching them the best that we can also. And those are parts of our society.
I love that. And it's we've heard before of like how you educate, like you're teaching them manners, right? You're teaching them, how to interact with in the public when they do go out. I love that. Oh, sorry. Okay. You good? Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So we don't have any questions coming through the chat just yet. So are there, I do want to hear, what is one lunch, and why did Mr. Dion make that face about one lunch?
I wouldn't want to give anybody any other idea. It's from a administration standpoint, they love it because they're all about time. So if you can feed 400 or 500 kids in 45 minutes, that frees up a lot of space. So I kind of made that face because from our standpoint, it can get very hectic. If I'm fixing 400 or 500 meals at one time, I see that the quality suffers sometimes.
Right.
So from our standpoint, the food isn't as good, but from administration standpoint, they love it. So if you throw it out there, they'll start running with it. But I would err on the side of caution before it's ever mentioned again.
Yeah, no. And that's good to know, because you want to know, okay, because if somebody out there that might be proposed to them and they want to be able to be prepared to say, well, hold on now, this could be a concern because like you said, the quality could suffer, or it's a logistics potential nightmare. So that's, we want to hear what's working and what maybe isn't or could be improved upon. So no, this is good. It's good information to know.
So how we miss, I'm sorry, but somebody just asked the question, how do we sit so many kids? Our one lunch is kind of like think of like a college campus. They can go anywhere. They can go in the gymnasium and play basketball. They can play volleyball. They can go do tutoring. They can be in the cafeteria. They can go outside in the courtyard. We have cornhole. So from a parent standpoint, it is great. But from a business standpoint, you're only limited to certain foods. It's got to be like pizzas, chicken sandwich. You can't do lasagnas or things like that. So from an offer versus serve standpoint, it's real hard. It's hard to keep, green beans hot or things like that. So you end up doing like celeries and corns or street corn and things like that. So it limits the menu and things, but the kids love it, and it's only an incentive on Fridays. Thank goodness.
Right. Yeah, because I was just thinking, you're going to have to do more grab and go, and they don't want that every day. You couldn't do that every day. I completely understand. Oh, see, we need to know. We need to know all of it.
But it is great from a reward system. So based on a reward system for your kids and participation in that fact, it has been something great for our children. Maybe not for us. We have to be more creative, that's also good. It's a good thing to have to, if you get very comfortable in what you're doing, then you don't always have to stimulate your creativity. So we've had to come up with new ideas so we want to make sure we're giving them the best quality. We want to make sure that they are rewarded. Same thing, we're still teaching and educating our children, So it's not something definitely you would want to do on a daily basis, but on certain occasions, certainly it's something that we can push ourselves to be better at.
Yeah. All I'm thinking though right now is you better not have anybody out on Friday, right?
Yes, we think that every week.
You're down one person. No, you can miss Monday. You can't miss Friday.
That's right. So when Mr. Dion said he's going to the conference next week, I was a little hesitant. I was like, wait a minute, buddy.
No. You got to pull somebody from another school.
That's right. That's what he said. We're going to take care of this.
Oh my goodness.
And we will, but that's also another opportunity for creativity. You know, that's a real issue that we're having in school. So you have to be able to, you know, move into that modern world and be able to make those adjustments where it's necessary. That's part of our job. You know, that's part of, and our world where we're at.
And I feel like, I don't think this is specific to any industry, but I feel like sometimes if like you both as the supervisors, if you were to go work a different station, you might see something that one of your team members, you know, hey, I found a more efficient way to do this. Like, let's slightly tweak this. If you're bouncing around and your team members bounce around, they might find those creative solutions, but you're not going to do it if you're always working. This is my little conveyor belt. I work right here and that's it. So we're running out of time. I'm so excited with how this conversation, like the paths it took. So thank you both so much. But I'm going to just ask you both to just any advice that you might have for staff out there, specifically to high school, if you don't mind, because I love this. I want to utilize this time with you both. But if you have any advice as we go into the fall, we're past back to school season. What do you have for those on the call or those that might be watching the recording? We'll start with you, Dion, and then Amy, and we'll wrap up.
I would just say be engaged. You have to give to get. So, you know, be a part of your whole school, not just the cafeteria. When administration sees that you're helping, they're more lenient to help you out. They gave me this whole room just to take this call, you know. So nice. So just be engaged. Snapchat is a new platform for a lot of people. If you're scared of it, just try it. You learn Facebook, you learn Instagram. Everybody learned TikTok during the pandemic. Facebook is a great resource because every school has a Facebook page. So even if you're not at an event, you can go to the school Facebook page that the kids aren't looking at, and you can get pictures and things from that. And you can just load them up onto your Snap. And they were like, oh, I didn't even see you there, Mr. Bellamy. I was like, oh, I got people places. So,
I love that.
I think the one thing is, you know, with everything that we've spoken about, it's also important to be sincere. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that, because I came from customer service and I was in it for so long, one of the things that Dion had coached me on is, you know, you don't always come across as sincere. And so I still had my, customer service face on that wasn't necessarily as sincere as it should be. And one of the things that's real is these kids know better. They know when you're being sincere. Do you really have an affection for me? And so I think that that's the most important part of my job, is that I am sincere and that, yes, you children are bringing me purpose and this is the best job I could have.
I love that. Be yourself. You don't have to put on just because you're right. Those kids, they can see right through it if you're not. Thank you both. Thank you both so much. I'm so sorry we won't see you, Amy, next week. Good luck on Friday. Thank you so much. And Dion, we'll see you in Myrtle Beach next week. Is that correct? Okay, so y'all, if you see Dion, please say hi and tell him you saw him on Nutrition Nuggets. We've got the links to the info in the chat. Thank you both so much for sharing. If you're watching and you have something you want to share, you both can say it was easy, right?
Yes.
So we want to keep this going, and I can't volunteer many more people. So we'd love to keep this moving and do this every month even. So thank you both. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Dion. And we hope everyone on the call has a great day.